That's good.
Okay. This is Joe. The recording started. Excellent. If we don't get this thing approved tonight, Chris, can we call just another special meeting with one agenda item on it when we get that wording in here so we can just approve it so we're not waiting another month? These are unusual times.
Yeah, I would have to,
I
guess, it would have to be approved before,
you have to
by
publish it to the website.
term.
Right. You'd have to go through the steps, but it's one item. You'd have to go through Betsy to get it up on the website.
So what are you saying, to do another, special meeting?
Another special meeting. As soon as we can get that wording,
we could do that
tonight. Defer this tonight. Get that wording from the lawyers. Get it in here, and then publish to the web another special meeting date. This is pretty harmless. We can call in for 5 minutes somewhere along the line, and then just approve one item on the agenda and just approve it, rather than wait another month for our next meeting.
This is Christian. That would make me more comfortable with moving forward on this document as opposed to trying to approve it with conditions.
Yeah. This is Jerry.
It's not an inconsequential component. Okay. So motion to defer?
Yeah, I didn't ask the other question, and Mark, you've requested putting in a hold harmless. Do we need it in this document? There was some discussion whether it was necessary at one point. So if you feel strongly, then I would go back to
my experience is when I feel strongly about something and then I don't do it, it comes back and kicks me in the ass.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. We didn't have a discussion on that point, but
yeah. So is anyone else having a pulsing?
Yes, I am.
Static in their line
too.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Okay, I was afraid it was just me.
This is Joe. It must be me because I'm not having a pulse.
Well,
it must be me causing it.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it.
All right. So is there a motion in front of us?
What would the motion be? Motion to deny this? Or go ahead, Joe.
This is Joe. I'll make the motion. I make a motion to defer the approval of the memo of understanding between Sacred Heart and the town till we can get the proper language in the document for get the proper language in the document to have a hold the town harmless in case we do not have the proper performance dates met. And I would suggest we postpone this till a special meeting can be till the document can be amended and a special meeting can be scheduled.
Jerry, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is Christian. Yes.
Joe, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Okay. Final item on tonight's agenda is a discussion regarding a request for proposal for a third-party review of the East Trunk Sewer Project. Chris, why don't you give us a quick summary of what's in front of us? We have two responses, one from Ty and Bond in the approximate amount of $59.5 thousand, and one from Ray Pierce in the approximate amount of $39,500.
Yeah, exactly. So, we had two RFPs come back, like Mark just said, one from Ty and Bond, one from Wright Pierce. Wright Pierce is obviously the lower. They're both qualified. They're both good candidates. Wright Pierce has a little more of an understanding of our system because they've done more work on our system. Ty and Bond is the engineer for the hardening project. Wright Pierce has done, the facilities plan, the engineering for the Eastern Turnpike Pump Station. So they are familiar. And I think they give a good breakdown of both in their reports of what their qualifications are.
Chris, this is Joe. Are we obligated to take the low bid?
Not necessarily. I think it's based on the system of determining who's qualified and who's not. So.
But you just said they're both qualified.
Yeah.
They're both. That's why I asked you the question. You said they're both qualified, so I asked you the question. Both bids qualified, both vendors qualified. So the question is, Are we now obligated because of all that to take the low bid, or do we still have a discussion here?
Well, I think we could still have a discussion. The normal practice in the past was to take the low bid. To save it on cost.
Right.
For an RFP, I don't believe we have to go through the low bid. I think we can do based on what their qualifications are, but that's a question that can be answered.
Well, I can get well, I should say, having had a discussion at town hall and a few months ago with the first Select Woman's Chief of Staff. I think there's some there's an opportunity for us to make a decision based on what we think is best for the services being rendered here. So I would say that both firms are in that sense on equal footing. I think a viewpoint of the department would be helpful here, given the experience the department has with both Ty and Bond and Wright Pierce, as well as discussions that the department may have had with both. I'll remind the commission that we had a discussion with Wright Pierce back in February regarding this before we went out for the RFP.
On the last page of the RFP that went out to bid, there's a point system that's determined to give the qualifications for each rating. Based on those qualifications, that's how the RFP will be awarded.
This is Jerry. I got a question. Was Wright Pierce the one that came before us a couple of months ago at one of our meetings?
Yeah.
Well, be careful, Jerry, because also Cardinal came before us, and I think that was your very first meeting, and we weren't happy with them at all, and you had questioned them about their sheathing.
Right. So it was Cardinal.
That was Cardinal.
Yeah.
That was Cardinal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, no problem.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what is on the table for discussion? If now we have if there's a metric qualifying matrix that's going to select the winner.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, either was I until Chris just mentioned it. Well, I saw it, but I didn't understand what it meant. So is that the selection process, Chris, or are we going to select, or?
We can select it based on the commission can select it based on the qualifications of the point system. And that, like I said, that's on the last page of the RFP. So I can go through each one if you want.
The last page of which RFP?
I'm trying to find
on the RFP. There are two attachments, Mark, that Chris sent out with the agenda. And
so I have the Ty and Bond. It's out on that last page.
The other one is just to the right of it, the last one.
Was it attached with that? I can't remember if I attached it.
Yeah, it's attached. It's attached.
Okay.
Okay. While I'm looking for that, why don't we continue?
Okay. So, Chris, let me. This is Joe. I'm sorry. Let me ask the question, because one of the parts of the RFP and something that we discussed very briefly was relocating the pipe instead of under the street along Long Island Sound. And it looks like that made it into the RFP as something we wanted to evaluate. I didn't realize
it is in there. Well,
I'm sorry.
If you look at the RFP,
yep. It's in there.
Where was it?
I'm saying it is in there as an alternative.
All right.
I didn't realize that the commission had gotten to that point that we wanted to look at relocating
well,
that
it's
pipe.
a possibility. It's a feasibility study. So if it is feasible, then they would give us their input of relocating that line.
Okay, but from at least from my point of view, I'm not sure I'd be interested in putting the pipe that close to Long Island Sound based on what's going on in the world today with water rising and issues with breaching of the pipes and everything. So I didn't realize we were even asking for that as an option. I mean, I don't want them to, if the commission doesn't want them to go, I for one would not want them to put the pipe near Long Island Sound the way that's designed. But I'm only one member. If the commission says we don't want to have it as an option, why would we even tell them to look at it and spend the money and effort? That was my point.
Okay. What they're going to do, what the third-party engineer is going to do, is they're going to reevaluate the plans, and they'll come up with the best solution possible. So, based on the technology of the new pipes and access to the pipes and whatnot. If it's not feasible, then they wouldn't take that avenue. So.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but my point is, do we even want them looking at that? Do we want to make a decision to put it that close to Long Island Sound?
Yeah.
It might be fine today, but in 10 years or 15 years, I could see Mark still on the commission getting those letters from people, from Save the Sound people.
Yeah, those will be going to you, Joe.
No. I'm a lot older than you, Mark. Remember that.
Yeah.
I'm a member on the board.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent point. I think initially we thought, let's evaluate the options, the relative costs. But I tend to agree that the idea of putting something that, in order to access it in the future, would be via barge is not something that I think makes any sense whatsoever.
I'd certainly like to
Chris,
hear from the other commission.
I can't find this checklist. Does everyone else have the checklist?
I don't have
Here,
it.
you want me to send it?
it?
I can send it
Chris,
to you right now.
Jerry, too.
Yep.
Jerry, go ahead.
He did checklist. I'm looking.
This is Christian. I don't have the checklist either.
All right, let me send it to you guys right now.
Bill Norton, while we're waiting for the checklist, have you had experience with both firms, and do you have a viewpoint on who would be better suited for this analysis? I think you have to unmute yourself if you heard that question.
Yeah, you're not allowed to tell them how, though, based on the rules.
I know.
right. He just texted me. He wanted to know how to unmute. He's unmuting.
Yep.
So.
Okay, text him. That's good.
Yeah, send them a fax.
Right. I might get it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have experience with both firms. Both firms are very good. They do a lot of work for us. Obviously, Ty and Bond's doing the hardening. They did a lot of collection system work before that. Majority of the work, other than the hardening, has been Wright Pierce. Based on just out-and-out qualifications, I think they're equal. So then if you go to the checklist and you start checking everything down, you come to price, and then, obviously that's where you would go with the better price. That being said, I was listening in, too, about the line going along Long Island Sound. Either way you go, you're going to have a line down there for the lower-lying properties anyway. So I think that's what we were saying. If we're going to have a line down there anyway, maybe we should evaluate having the whole line down there. Because you're going to have to collect everybody on the low end of that pipe and then pump it back up into that interceptor.
The other thought with that was we would have to. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm breaking up a little bit.
I can hear you, Chris.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. So the other thought with that was we would have to relocate those lines from the houses. They exit the back of the house. They would have to go out to the street. That would be another cost that we would have to incur. So, that was why I think we put in the RFP that, to evaluate and see if that portion was feasible to relocate through an easement or, a right-of-way.
Is it possible that those houses continue to use the pipe and we create a parallel pipe?
That kind of defeats the purpose because we're trying to get all that I&I out of that pipe.
The I&I.
Yeah, I'm not. Yes, I was visually. Yeah.
Our whole philosophy is trying to rid ourselves of that pipe.
No, I get that. I guess I had in my mind just a smaller section of that pipe. The homes that are all, the backyards are almost marsh-like now.
Yeah.
Okay. If we were to make a decision to not continue with Cardinal and put this out for bid, would we expect that Wright Pierce and Ty and Bond would bid on the project?
I would assume they would, based on the RFP that they provided.
And do we have a view of who would be more capable, or if they were to bid on the project? Or would, similar to this, would you view them to be equally capable, but potentially just different price points?
Yeah, I would consider them equally competitive and qualified.
I think, yeah, they're equally capable of doing this kind of work.
Okay. Okay, so Chris, I have the email that you sent over. The matrix hasn't been filled out, so it's.
No, it hasn't. So that's something that we can determine, or it needs to be determined.
Gotcha. I thought there was a completed.
No.
Scoring. Okay. All right. So then, in terms of the commission making a decision this evening, I'm not sure there's a decision to be made. So it's just a discussion, correct?
Is that what we're planning for?
Yeah, something we could do is you guys could fill out these, these based on the point system here, and submit them, and then we can compile them and make a decision from that.
That could be a second point at that special meeting.
You're suggesting the commission do fill out the rating form?
Or we could do it, in-house.
Yeah, I think that. I think
that's the way we've done it before. But Brian wanted to bring it up in front of the commission for approval.
Okay.
So.
Well, I have it as a discussion item, not for approval. I think that we'll leave it to the department to complete the matrix and determine the party that is awarded this. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Is there any discussion amongst the commission on that?
I would just like to ask Chris a question. This is Joe. Chris,
Sure.
Why do you feel that they're so far apart in price? One is $59 and one is $39. That's for this size project. That's pretty far apart.
Right.
The value,
20,000.
Yeah, I mean it's 50%
I think it's
higher.
more. Yeah, because my gut feeling is because Wright Pierce has a better understanding on it. It's not going to take him as long to evaluate the system. They have done some work for us previously to evaluate the crossing at the Metro Center. If you remember when Lorero came in for the Metro Center project, we did pass it by them to have them do a quick evaluation on it. So they are familiar with the flows. They have also done the feasibility study at the treatment plant and on the system. So they're more familiar with it. I think their time and their hourly rate is a little bit less because of that. So.
Okay, thank you. It makes a big difference, a 50%, not right. From the point of view of absolute money dollars, but just from the point of view of why is one so much higher.
This is Jerry. I'm just going to say, why would we have to pay again? What's the point of going with Ty and Bond then?
What do you mean, as far as?
So, if Wright Pierce has a better understanding about this.
Yeah. Well, they haven't looked at the Cardinal plans. This is all based on the Cardinal plans.
Oh, the ticking stops.
Yeah. Wright Pierce has already done a sewer system evaluation for us on the collection system, so that's some knowledge that they have that right now Ty and Bond doesn't. That they'd have to go and redo. Ty and Bond would have to redo that work. So that's what gives Wright Pierce a little better understanding of the system.
They might also view it that it's potentially a $6 million project a bit further down the road, and it makes sense to get in the door now.
I think that's an option for both of them.
Yeah, it's certainly an option for both of them, and it certainly doesn't foreclose the work that's been done with Cardinal. The decision that we made a few months ago was to get another set of eyes on this and provide us some optionality relative to design and costing of this project, which is a critical project for this department. Christian, any thoughts?
No, I guess if all things are equal, then my thought would be to go with the lower of the two costs. But I think it would be nice to have some more experienced eyes look at that to determine how equal the two RFPs are in terms of scope and in terms of experience, et cetera. So, having been on the commission for this long, both of the companies are familiar and the faces in the RFPs are familiar. So it's, certainly both of them have done work for us. It would just, I guess, be comforting to have the not only the commission, but everyone else take a look and sort of give their sense as well.
Okay. So, unless anyone feels otherwise, I'm going to suggest we take no action on this and defer the decision to the department. I can't see you guys, so speak up if anyone feels differently.
I'm just going to ask a question, Mark.
Go ahead.
Mark?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jerry. I'll wait.
No, I was just going to suggest just what Christian said. I mean, I don't have a problem with Wright Pierce. I don't understand why we have to pay Ty and Bond so much more money. This doesn't seem worth it to me. We're going to have two sets of plans then now. Now we're just paying for three.
All right. So my only question, or it's just something. If we allow the department to select, we should have this again on that special calendar, as somebody else previously mentioned, so the commission can vote on it pretty quickly, so that we can get one of these groups going on this thing. This should be on the next agenda.
Yeah, I don't. It's not. I wish Brian was on the phone, because I'm not sure that the commission is making decisions on $40,000 contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Right, we can make the decision in the department, but the funding should come through the department or through the commission. So
don't we have to
based on
that?
What
any funding?
Well, it should be approved by the commission.
Yeah.
It's Jerry again. I have a
I'm
quick
saying,
question.
if you guys select a vendor, we should have that on the agenda as quickly as possible so we can approve the money.
Right.
We just approved $28,000 for I can't remember what, not the hardening project, the pumps or something that ran. I mean, we approved small numbers.
That was the microgrid.
All right.
The microgrid. Thank you, Kristen.
It was Bill.
No,
I'm just saying to keep it moving. Let the department make the decision.
Well, I would say then to keep it moving, why don't we say, why don't we
up to
direct it to Wright Pierce and I'm willing to go even better if they would just approve a contingent amount up to $59,000 based on the vendor that the commission that the office picks. I like that idea.
We can do that right now, up to number. And if they pick Wright Pierce, it's 36, 38, or 39, whatever it is. And if they pick Ty Bond, it's 59. But we cover them.
I think that's perfect. I think it's beautiful.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But if that happens, are we just spending $20,000 unnecessarily?
Well, I would hope that they make a decision based on some kind of facts. These guys are more creative, or they're, if it's just a money decision, I think we can make it right now.
I think we've heard from everybody that they're pretty much equal. They all both have a history of working with the town and with the departments and this and that. So that's the reason why I say that.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, Jerry. I agree with you.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, this is Christian. If Chris or Bill, having had an opportunity to peruse each of the RFPs, would there be anything that stood out in the Tiger Bond RFP that was so far above and beyond what the other RFP was proposing that we would have any issues in terms of choosing one based on cost at this point, as opposed to going through the process of totaling up their point values and voting at a different date?
My only input would be that Wright Pierce has a very well understanding of our system, as opposed to it's going to take time for Ty and Bond to go through the facilities plan, make sure the infrastructure can handle the capacity. They have to check the flows, so that's going to take a little more time. not doing a grading system or anything like that based on the RFP, that would be the only standout figure that I can think of.
Trying
Bill?
to answer the questions.
Okay.
Did Bill answer? Or is he still on mute?
No, I'm here. Did you hear? I said that they're pretty.
Yeah, I heard you before. Did you have anything else you wanted to add in?
No, not that I.
Okay.
Thinking about the review of the RFPs, they're pretty much basic RFPs. I think to Chris's point that Wright Pierce has a little more knowledge of the system based on the fact that they've been in town, for over the last couple of years, where Ty and Bond was in town, several years ago and doing some I&I work, but hasn't really done anything except really the siphon work on Riverside Drive.
Okay.
So their evaluations are, and I think going back in history, looking at some other stuff that Joe Michelangelo was talking about was some increased flows coming from the metro area. So that's, I think, he was one of the things that we were, worried about.
Mark, do you want a motion at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to move to hire Wright Pierce to do a peer review and evaluation of the Cardinal Engineering study of the East Trunk Line and authorize to spend you want an exact number, hold on, 0515, $39,450 to
Actually,
fund the study.
let me just correct that. It's actually $452. I don't know where the $2 came from, but if you look at I was looking before, if you look at the bid breakdown, but just to confirm for that figure.
All right, correcting to $39,452 to fund the project.
Jerry, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Jerry, aye.
Kristen, aye.
Okay.
Let's
That
get
brings
working
us
on it.
to the close of business. I will make an effort with Brian and Chris and Bill to see if we can upgrade our communication system for our next meeting, ideally including video, because I think the May agenda will have quite a number of items on it. And I think that would be far more productive, so we'll see what we can do.
Do we know the date of the May meeting?
Yep.
27th.
27th.
May 27th.
At
Maybe by then we might be able to be in a room far apart.
Right. Let's hope.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Just thinking.
far more productive. But thank you all for dialing in. Is there a
I'd like to
motion
make a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Jerry, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.
Thank you,
All
everybody.
right, thank you.
Guys,
Take
great talking
care.
to you. Everybody
Yeah,
stay safe.
thank you.